Hi guys, Laura here. Today I'm here to talk about my book buying ban for the fall. I am hoping to read between 20 and 30 books before I let myself to buy an excessive amount of new books. Over the summer I've treated myself to a lot of books and I have a lot of awesome stuff to read. And I'm also going to utilize my library that has a lot of series that I'm just really excited to read and don't want to buy them necessarily myself. So that's what this book haul is going to be about. It's going to be between 20 and 30 books, and I'll try to throw in sequels as I get them. Like, if I'm going to get the sequel, obviously, if I'm in the middle of a series. The first half of this will be books that I don't actually have but know I'm going to read. I am currently in the middle of reading The Indigo Spell by Rochelle Mead. So the next book I'm going to get my hand on is The Fiery Heart by Rochelle Mead. The next book in that series that just came out like in a few weeks ago was Silver Shadows. That book my library unfortunately doesn't have yet. So if the cliffhanger is as intense as I'm told, I might just buy it on my Kindle. But yeah, that's the next book I hope to read in this fall is Silver Shadows by Rochelle Mead. The next book I hope to get from my library is Thorn of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I'm actually really excited to start the series. I've heard a lot about it. It's supposed to be about an assassin, and it's supposed to be a really intense book. There's a chance I might be meeting Sarah J. Maas and a couple other authors at a book signing in the city in a few weeks when Air of Fire comes out, and it was one of the highly anticipated books at BEA that I did not get. But I am really excited to start reading it and hopefully continue on through the series because it sounds like a really fun series that I'm sure I will love. And now these are just the books that I have physical copies of that I hope to read in the fall. The first one is a sequel. It is Untold by Sarah Reese Brennan. It is the second book in the Libran Legacy series. I read Unspoken about a year ago and I really liked it. The characters were really interesting, so I really wanted to complete the characters. I got this from my library, so I have to read it relatively quick because it has to go back at the beginning of September. And I know Unmade comes out in early September, so hopefully in the fall I'll be able to complete the series and let you know what I think about it. The next book I hope to read is by John Green. It is Paper Towns. I love Fault in Our Stars when I read it. I love the movie. This is the next book that is going to be adapted by John Green, so I'm really excited to get my hands on it. And it's about this guy named Quentin that meets this girl named Margot, and I think she falls in love with her, but then she goes missing, and it's supposed to be really interesting. And I've always wanted to read more by John Green, and if I like this, maybe I'll pick up Looking for an Alaska and Abundance of Catherines. But this will be the next book I want to read by him. The next book I hope to read is Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. This is the first book in the sequel series to the Parasol Protectorate that I have not read yet. But if I like this, maybe I'll go back and read it. And I know it's set in the same exact world. Sorry, that's a bookmark from the Strand Bookstore where I got it. And I know right now the sequel's out and it's called Courtesies and Conspiracies. But it sounded really cool and I've heard a lot of good things about this. So I'm really excited to read this as well. The next book is a memoir. I think it's the only memoir I have on here, but it's A Stolen Ice by J.C. Dugard. It's her memoir of when she was kidnapped and her life, and I don't know, her story just seems very interesting, and I wanted to see it or hear it through her own voice. So yeah, I'm really excited, and hopefully get to read this soon. The next book I want to read, I just got this recently. It's by Morgan Matson, and it's Since You've Been Gone. It's a summer contemporary about a girl whose best friend vanishes, but leaves her a list of 15 things or 13 things that she must do, and it's kind of her doing them, and if it gets her out of the shell, and the cover is really cute, and I got this for really cheap. So hopefully I'll be able to read this shortly. The next book I want to read is Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell. I read Fangirl and I read Landline recently, and I really like them. And this is another one of her young adult novels, and I've heard amazing things about it. So I'm really excited to delve back into her writing and see what she has in store for me next. The next book I want to read, I just did this in my book haul, but it's Poison Princess by Cressley Cole, the first book in the Arcane Chronicles. It's a little bit apocalyptic with magic and supernatural elements, so I'm excited to see where it goes. And the sequel's also out, so maybe after I read this, maybe I'll get the sequel if it's in paperback. The next book that I just talked about was Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson as well. If I like these, maybe I'll buy more of her books, but her books tend to have really cool premises that I'm really excited to read about, so I'm really excited for this as well. The next book is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. I read Cinder in May, so I'm really excited to read this and see the conclusion and get my hands on Cress because it's supposed to be an awesome series, and I've heard so many people talk about it, and I really love the first book, and I would love to read the Little Red Riding Hood character and then eventually meet Rapunzel. The next book is one I've had on my shelf literally since I was in college the first time around. It's How to Save a Life by Sarah Zarr. It's about these two girls that meet under interesting circumstances, and it's about them learning to deal with the past and learning to deal with hard issues and learning how you can save someone else's life as well as your own. So I'm really excited to get my hands on it. There's a few of these on my bookshelf that I might throw into these 50 books because I've had them for so long, but this is definitely one of the few that I really want to read because I've been wanting to read it for a really long time. I started a few times, I just never finished it. The next two I want to read is Lola and the Boy Next Door and Isla and the Happily After. As I said in my previous video, Isla and the Happily Ever After is the book club book of the month for September, so I need to read both of these so I will be fully caught up on that series and to complete it and let you know what I think of the entire series. These are a bunch of arcs I got when I went to BEA. The first one is Afterworlds by Scott Westerfield, and it's a really interesting book. It's basically two books in one. One book is about the character writing her own novel and how it gets published, and then the second part of the book is the actual novel and it's taking place. So I think that's like a really cool premise. I love books with really interesting premises. Really thick too, so I'm really excited to see about this book as well. The next book I hope to read is The Iron Trial by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. I got this as an ARC, but this is the really cool cover. I spent the summer reading the Curse Worker series by Holly Black, and I loved it. I thought it was a really good series. I finished Immortal Instruments and The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare, so now I can start this, and I think it comes out early September, so September 9th actually. So I'm going to try to read this really quickly so I can get a review up for you guys. The next book I read was Allison Richmond's The Garden of Letters. I met her at BEA, and the back sounds really cool. It's set in 1943 Italy, which sounds amazing. So yeah, I'm really excited to get my hands on and read this, and she's coming to the book review, but I was lucky enough already to get it signed by her. She has a couple of other books out, so if I like this, I might try to pick them up as well. The next book is James Dash's The Scorch Trials, which is the second book in the Maze Runner series. I've read the Maze Runner many, many months ago, and I want to be prepared for when the Maze Runner movie comes out, so I hope to read this and then eventually get on to the Death Cure. The next book I want to read is actually a duology. The first one I actually have, it's Mind Games, and then the second book is Perfect Lies, and they are about twins who are caught up in kind of like a government conspiracy. I haven't heard the best things about these books, but I kind of adore twins, so I'm just going to read it and hopefully I enjoy it. The next book is another arc from BEA that I got from a book blogger who ran into me. This book comes out 940 and it's called The Jewel. I heard about it on my book podcast. It sounds like a really interesting dystopian novel, so I'm really excited to read it and see what is it all about. And this cover is just stunning. The next book I hope to read is Something Strange and Deadly by Susan Dennard. This is the first book in a series. The complete series is out now, but it's like a historical fiction book about brothers that go missing and zombies, I think. And I'm really excited to start the series and hopefully finish it close in the fall. I think there's like 4 books out. The next 2 books I want to read is Lux the Beginning, which is Obsidian and Onyx, the first books in the Lux series. I've always wanted to read the series. It's about aliens, and I've heard really good things about it, and I've had the first 2, so I'm really excited. Hopefully, if I like this, I'll be able to get the other ones once my book buying ban is over. I have had this book since the start of the summer, and I have not touched it yet. But I really, really, really want to read Pushing the Limits by Katie McGarry. She has 4 books coming out. The ebook special of this is coming out in December, so I really, really want to read this before then. And it's a contemporary romance. It's not always my genre, but I've heard such amazing things about Katie McGarry. I'm willing to give it a chance. The last 2 books are ones I must get my hands on because the last book in the Pretty Little Liars series, I think it's called, Deadly. Maybe not. It's the final book in the series, and it comes out in December, so I have to read this before then. And the last book is a new book by Sarah Shepard. It's called Iteres. It's the first book in her mystery series that she just came out with. And this book came out in May, so I'm really far behind. But I'm really excited to see what she does in this world as well. Those are the books that I hope to read in the fall. I do have a few books I'm excited for coming out. Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan. The Young Elites by Mary Lou. The second book in the Holmes and Stoker series is coming out in October. So there's a few things and a couple books I probably am going to treat myself to on my Kindle. But these are the books that I hope to read in the next few months, and I will be putting up reviews like crazy. I am going back to school, so it's a little bit of a way to save money. If you guys have any tips about book buying bans or any books you think I should read first, just give me a heads up, and I will be sure to talk to you guys later. Have a very nice day, and happy reading, everyone. Bye!